And just actually put a little bit more fresh white in there because sometimes it gets dirty. And then we keep picking up little bits of coffee latte, and then your white just keeps getting dirtier and dirtier. So put out a little bit at a time, guys. That way you always have fresh paint, fresh nice white. And it doesn't waste on you. You're not taking out too much. Okay. We're going to start off by putting our little bells in. And it probably needs some more coffee latte too. Oops. Okay. And the color worked in again. And you don't need a lot of white, guys. Just a little bit at the top. Maybe a 3/4 gradient is fine. Okay. So this should help you a little bit with your placement now, how big you want to make them. Okay. So you're starting off on a little bit more of a V here, right? And coming in skinny, and then you're coming in and doing a little bit more of a bell at the bottom. Okay. So you're pulling that in. Your dark is leading around the bottom, coming up, and then swooping that in to make your V. Okay. Made that a little too floppy here at the bottom. Always erase a little bit of it. Okay. Got a lot of white showing. Go over that again, just get a little bit darker. And then we can always add some more shading. Okay, and also go over it again, guys, okay? If you're not getting the coverage you're looking for, then I really wouldn't worry too much on the bell part because we are going to go over it again with the closers, right? Okay, so we're going to come over, work our way around. Bell and out. Okay, so we'll make that a little bit longer looking. Okay, bring that one up a little bit higher. Again, I'm a little bit off on my shape. So I'm just going to help. I'm showing you all my cheating tricks, guys. Okay, and a little bit repetitive. So imagine if I did 11 of them with you guys tonight. It would take about 5 hours. All right, a little bit longer. Bring it up a little bit higher. Just to get that bell in there. Okay. And then these guys back here should be just a little bit smaller than your front one, so then they look like they're further away. Okay. Don't make them too big. And then we'll work over here first. Okay, so we're going up a little bit sideways here. Backwards in reverse. It's always good to practice everything in all your different directions. Okay. Or just flip your canvas over. I just wanted to bring that down just a little bit more. You can go on top of your stem, no problem. Okay, as long as you don't leave anything all big and globby, then it should sit nice and smooth on it. Okay, that's why I'm a big nut about globbiness, right? If you have to go and do something on top of it, then it's hard to cover that bump, right? And then I get all this in. And it's a lot faster to work this way, right? A little bit here, a little bit there. Then trying to finish it all and then move to the next flower. Okay, multitask. And then this is going to be dry. And then if I feel like I want to go over things again quickly, I can just give it that. Little extra. Right? Over here first. Follow your original line. Okay. Just for perfectionism. Okay, so then once we have all our bases in there, then we can come in and put all our tops. Okay, so remember that you want to swoop this out a little bit wide. Okay, this one's coming up a little bit to a point that way. And then we're going to come down. Make sure you get that little bit of wideness going in there. You can do a little bit of bumpy movement. And then bring that in. Okay. And I'm just filling things in if I am skimpy. Get that shape the way you want. Pull, move. Okay. And over here. Okay, so this little swoop here, that if you make your little swoop like this is going to help you if you follow it. Come right out and around it. Right over and then out. Up, down, and then around. You're right there at your V, and then you're going to curl that in. Okay. More paint. I'm more worried about the outside of my stroke than the inside of my stroke, as you guys can see. Then I can always fill it in and smooth things out. Okay. Out, over, maybe a little bit out this way now. Get a little fancy with your little points. Okay. And this one over here, we're going to flip this one over, so we want it to be higher on the top. Okay, and then a little bit of a wave if you want. Okay, so we're not going to do the heart ones. I already showed you how to do them. If you really want to try them, you can. Okay, so I'm just going to stick with a little bit more of the simpler ones for you. Because I did play around quite a bit with that one. It was almost an afterthought. If you see by my pictures, I had a few of them in there. And then I had another one that I ended up adding in after the bud as an afterthought. Okay, so because I really want a little extra flip on this one, I am turning my canvas upside down a little bit to help me with this one. Okay. Try to make them all look a little bit different. Okay. Put some weight on there, put some cameo back in there. Alright, so I'm just going to let that sit. And then I'm going to go and perfect my stroke here now. You definitely want a good amount of white rim looking, you know, that strong white around the edges. Because it can be a little softer, but you still want that good rim. Right? Don't go too high up on your gradient on these ones, okay? You want more half and half gradient. That you can really see that little streak of white, okay? Pulling it in on both sides. Sometimes you can come around like that too if you want to kind of curl it in a little bit more. But if you just take your time and swoop it in there, all right, on your up and then down. Okay, you can always come in and do a little bit more flip all at the same time, right? But like I said, I find I just do a better job at getting that in there first. I cover it around the edges, right? And then come in and close her up a little bit more. Down, which I'm doing. Hopefully my head's not in the way. Okay. Nicer coverage. And then we'll do this guy here. Like the gradient, it was just the coverage. Order your brush. And over here we didn't do this guy. A big glob sitting there. You better behave and stay there. Some dry paint I picked up. And sometimes, once in a while, you gotta kind of give your brush a little quick rinse. It's getting too dry and sticky. Floating medium's just getting too globby. Then maybe you need to do a quick rinse with your brush. Okay? Especially after doing lots of painting. Even though we're doing the same color, sometimes it gets a little globby, weird. Then it's good to refresh your brush and reload. Okay. We have to catch up on this one here on a second coat. So now we can start doing our little flips. I'll fix this edge right here first. Okay, so you're gonna come over, and sometimes I like to do one side a little bit bigger than the other, right? Sometimes I'll come over and I'll flip right over this side, depends on which way it's going, right? So this one's coming over onto this direction, so sometimes it's good to have this layer over this side a little bit more. Okay, try to make them look a little bit different. This one is going over on this side, so sometimes I will do this side first. Okay, make it really, really skinny. Fix your edge a little bit so it's smooth in there. Okay, make sure you're happy with this side. The towel keeps moving on me. Okay. Then you can slide this one in and overlap on this side. Okay, so that way it makes it look a little bit more flipped again. Different directions, so you're not cookie cutter, right? What I call cookie cutter when you do everything always the same way. Okay, so this one's nice, a little bit fatter. There's more room, so you can put it right down the middle if you want. And I didn't make the bulb as long here. So this helps to lengthen it a little bit too, because you can bring it up that little bit higher. Okay, and see how flat that one is? It didn't go join in nicely. Okay, so just go over it again. Make sure that it feathers right up into that stroke. Oops, getting way in there trying to fix things. Okay, and then we're going to add some more shading to that. Okay, so this one here, I want it to flip over a little bit more. So this side I can make a little bit bigger. And if you want, you can actually just leave that one like that too. Okay, or just emphasize it just slightly. Just smooth it a little bit more, get a little bit brighter. And then this guy here, we definitely need to kind of push him sideways so we can get a better view at him, right? So I'm going to do this side first. Put that in there. Okay. Your gradient is smooth. Yeah, I'm not even worried about that glob because I know I'm going to erase it. So I want to fix what I can first quickly, and then go in and just erase. Okay. Then I'm going to come up really on a curve. Okay, hopefully you guys can see this one. Right, so I'm kind of curving right around, but I'm being aware of where my dark is. Right, so you just want to come in, curl that in a little bit. Right, pull, slide down. Okay, so there's a little bit of a join here. Separated. Actually, doesn't look too bad there too. Having that little tiny bit of space. So there's a little bit easier one that's flipped a little bit more upside down. Okay, just kind of taking some globs out of my brush. And then now we're going to go and touch up our stems. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pick up that 3/4 gradient again with the white and coffee latte. Just a little bit of white, guys, mostly coffee latte. And then we're going to start with our back one there at the back. Make sure you're not too globby. And then we probably need a little bit more floating medium. And even that gets all dirty and globby too after a while. So just put a little bit at a time. You always have clean floating medium. Okay. So right here at the base, we do try to do a couple little just tap movements just to make it a little bit wider here at the base. Okay, try to get a little closer to there for you a little bit. Okay, and then what you're going to do, because it's a little bit wider stem, right? You're going to drag your brush a little bit on an angle so you have the dark on the outside and you're getting that little bit of a white highlight in the middle. Okay, so you're going to follow that all the way around, down. Okay, and you're not going to worry about going on top of this guy, just come up underneath it. Right, you're going to tap a little bit of darkness under it if you want. Come down and follow that all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so this one disappears on the bottom. Then you're going to come over, reload your brush again, and then come over on the other side with the other angle a little bit, and then follow it again in the middle. Really slowly, guys, okay? Just slow. So you should end up with that little bit of a highlight in the middle of your stem. Okay, if you feel like you want to wait and just do one side at a time, come over and do all your one side of your branch. Right, let that dry. Come over on this side, do this one. So this one here peeks behind. So we don't have to worry about where the leaf is. Then you're going to come down here, add a little bit more here. Stop right where that stem is. Come down and then you can follow this one all the way down. Okay, make sure nothing's really globby. And if you're too thick, then you can always erase. Okay, and at this point, guys, actually, it's not a bad idea to actually erase some of your chalk. Once your design is all dry, oops, get yourself a clean brush. And when I'm doing a lot of erasing, guys, I always usually use my old brushes because they do get beat up a little bit when you're doing a lot of erasing. Okay, so just take a clean brush and get rid of all those chalk lines because they're probably distorting you a little bit if you can't see what you've done. Okay, so you just go ahead and erase them. We don't need them anymore. And then if there is any dirty marks that you didn't see because of the chalk, like I can see an area right here that I'm going to come in with my black paint and just touch up that little area of what I didn't like. Okay, so if I have any little skip marks, I thought it was chalk, but it wasn't. Alright, so very easy. Like I said, I love working on black for that reason. That I can erase or fix or get rid of all those little chalk marks so that you can see what is actually your edge now. Okay. There, now it looks a lot cleaner. Okay, and then now that it's all nice and clean, now we can see where our line's going to be a little bit better. And like I said, guys, sometimes it's easier to do one side, right, of all your stems. Okay, so this guy here is going to be a little bit on top of your back one, right? So, and just making it a little bit wider here underneath the butt of the flower, right? And then I do want to finish this guy here. Make sure that I'm happy with this guy. Okay. And then I want to put this one on top, right here. I'm trying to get a nice even stalk here. Okay. And then I'm going to come around all the outside because it's a little bit easier for me to come this way and move up. You can do the left side of your stalk. And try not to be too globby. And then we can turn it around, and then it might be a little bit easier for you just to put that little extra highlight or shadow on the outside. Okay, give this a little bit extra coverage, brighten it up a bit more. Make sure you do all the outside ones. And your stems look the same thickness coming through. Okay, so like I said, we might have to fix some stuff. Now I'm going to come down the other side. One. And then you can always erase a little bit if the one side is dry, then you can always fix that a little bit more easier. Okay. So you see how this is starting to pop up a little bit more. Okay. And then now we can go and do this one on top. I'm just worrying about the one side of my stem. And then I'm going to stop right here. Finish the other side of this stem. I'm going to pop these other ones right in front. So sometimes I'll just put all the dark right here. Because we're going to add some more shading too. Put that in. And then do the other side of that. Keep playing with it, guys. Just remember how much I'm erasing, okay? So if I'm doing a lot of erasing and you feel like you're not getting a clean line, then just remember, get a little fussy, okay? Erase what you don't like. Right, so now that we have all those, this is our last one here. Okay. Tap, 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 make it a little bit wider. Come through. And actually, I want to pop that other one on top of it. We'll pick up fresh white. We're going to come over and pop this one right on top. So I still wanted to put that little bit of highlight shadow at the bottom anyways. Put this one right back on top of this one. Make that look like it's the closest one. Okay, so like I said, once it's dry, you can always pop in even just a little bit of coffee latte by itself if you feel like you want to add any more. But I definitely want to have the coverage, white in there. Just play with it. You can get that little bit of highlight. A bit more light in there so it looks lighter than the one behind it. Okay, so then